Zep. Yee! We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season.
Yo. Whoa.
Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. Welcome back to another episode of Straight Out of the Bay. Of course, we got Amin the Dream to my left. We got Kelts Chronicles below me. We got Bay Area Baller straight diagonal from me. How is everyone doing this Monday night? Obviously, the 49ers are on a 11-game winning streak, 7-0 in the division. We take down the Seahawks this past weekend. And just got to ask, how's everyone doing? How was everyone's weekend? How's everyone doing in Northern California dealing with all this rain, man? Let's start off with Kelts Chronicles. How are you doing, man?
Doing beautiful, man. It's another Victory Monday. You know, hey, we got to enjoy Victory Sunday, man. It's everything is good. To be honest, my little one is not feeling good again, man. It's always worrisome just because she had a liver transplant and whatnot. But everything is good though. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure. Who knows? I don't know exactly yet what's going on, but I'm sure everything is going to be all right. So besides that, hey, it's just another blessed day, man.
Sending positive energy your way, Kelts Chronicles, man. Hopefully everything is copacetic and it's not too serious, man. Because I know we've all experienced, that flu or COVID, whatever it was, in December. That's for sure in this past year. So, BayAreaBaller18, how are you feeling? How are you doing? How was your weekend?
It was great. Big time win by the Niners. Just finished up watching this Monday Night Football game. Found out we're going to be playing the Cowboys. Can't wait to get into it with you fellas.
Absolutely. And we have Amin the Dream 13, fresh off of a Cancun trip. Obviously, he's got that tan on him. Welcome back, man. I'm glad to have you on as the crew is complete tonight. How was your weekend? How was your vacay? What's going on with you, Amin? We ain't seen you in a minute.
On vacay was, I feel like Cam Newton coming back to the Panthers since the touchdown. He's like, I'm back. I feel like Cam Newton right now. I'm glad to be back with you guys. Obviously, Niners in a row. Obviously, great win on Saturday, and we get to play the Cowboys. So obviously, rivalry game, and that'll be a fun one. Excited to talk ball with you guys.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely get into the Cowboys matchup in a little bit later on in the show. Huge shout out to everyone that's in the chat right now. You could have been anywhere in the world right now watching whoever you want on YouTube or television, but you're right here with us on Straight Out of the Bay. We appreciate you. Whether you're watching on the Straight Out of the Bay YouTube channel, Amin the Dream, Kelts, Bay Area Baller, or Jay in the Bay, we appreciate you guys' support. And the chat is up on the right-hand screen, so you guys can see your chats, and we will be reading some of those out as the show progresses. But we got to get into this 49ers victory over, the Seattle Seahawks. We know the Seattle Seahawks have had, let's be real, they've had their way with the 49ers when Russell Wilson was there. I think the tide has turned. Now we've won 3 straight games against the Seahawks. I got to know who stood out to you on the offensive side of the ball. Let's start off with Amin the Dream. Who stood out to you, man, on the offensive side of the ball?
I mean, let's go with the obvious one, and Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy had himself his first playoff game. I remember that I think the last time I was on the Straight Out with the Straight Out of the Bay crew, I was talking about, Purdy's having a great regular season, but can he do it in the playoffs? And yes, he can do it in the playoffs. And you saw it obviously, the Seahawks, aren't the best team, but they are a playoff team. And Purdy had himself a great game, right? obviously the first half was a little bit shaky but came out in the second half, looked more comfortable, looked more poised, and did what he's been doing this whole entire season when he's gotten the opportunity to be the starting quarterback for the 49ers. So a player that, stood out to me on Sunday was definitely Brock Purdy, and one throw that stood out to me, which ended up which ended up being an incompletion, which ended up being incomplete, an incomplete pass, was to Brandon Ayuk. That was some Mahomes type stuff right there. Brock Purdy extending the play in the red zone, back of the end zone, and Ayuk, man, that's a catch that Ayuk would have had 9 times out of 10, but on that play, Brandon Ayuk dropped it. But that one, I wish Ayuk caught that one, because that was some Mahomes stuff right there. But Brock Purdy definitely did his thing, and hopefully he can continue to do that throughout the remainder of the playoffs.
Absolutely. I gotta say, what's good? I like what Raphael said. He said Brock Purdy is the third 49ers quarterback with 300 plus yards, 3+ touchdowns since Montana and Young in the playoffs. I mean, he's doing big things out there. He's looking good. He's setting records every game. It's really an amazing story. And huge shout out to Eric. He is a Seattle Seahawks fan, man. We appreciate you coming in and congratulating us. We appreciate that. Now let's continue on with the offensive players of the game. Who stood out to you? Let's go with Kelts Chronicles, man. Who stood out to you on the gridiron on Saturday?
Now I gotta talk a little bit about Brock Purdy, but I also gotta give a huge shout out to Raphael562 Niners. I can't see it on Restream for whatever reason. Maybe it's on all of our channels, but I believe, I'm looking at it over here. I believe he is my first member to my channel.
Ooh,
so welcome
nice.
welcome Raphael562 Niners on becoming a riser. That's what I call him, because part of what I say is faithful. Rise up, yee. Hey, so anybody who is a member on my channel, you're a part of the riser crew. I don't know exactly how I want to call it, but hey, props
That's
to you,
dope.
my man. Real talk. Hey, hopefully we can all elevate, rise up, levitate, and do all those great things together. And man, because I know there's one guy who's rising up, and that is Brock freaking Purdy, and I want to talk a little bit about Debo as well. But Brock Purdy, to Raphael's point, my God, this man is the third, it's the third time ever we had a quarterback in 49er history. It's like ever. It's like I almost have to enunciate that, or whatever the right word is, but ever. It's the first it's the first dude, or the first time. I mean, he's the first rookie to ever have 4 touchdowns in the playoffs. He is the 7th rookie ever to win. He is only the 5th player ever to have 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and a rushing touchdowns. Only Mahomes, Matt Ryan's, Aaron Rodgers, and Joe Montana ever pulled that off. And for this man to be a rookie, it's the 3rd time ever that the 49ers have went over 500 yards in the playoffs. 2013, we did it with Kaepernick versus the Green Bay Packers, and then we also did it versus Miami in the Super Bowl in 85, 84 season. So when you start getting into territory that's ever being done in NFL history, it was a few weeks back. He was in the same conversation of the only player with not Joe Montana, Dan Marino, the only player to do the things that he's doing. And then what was the other guy? It was Dan Marino, and there was another player. He was also, Kurt Warner. When you start getting it, and all these guys are Hall of Famers, and this dude is doing it, and he's only played 7 games. I see. All right, in the first half, I seen it where it was like, okay, a couple overthrows, okay, a couple of coulda, woulda, shoulda, but didn't happen interceptions. It's like, if this dude was still able to do what he did, and he had mistakes throughout the first half, could you imagine when the game slows down for this dude? It's just remarkable what he's doing, and I'm just super juiced up about it. Debo, and what a way to step up and stand out. I'm pretty sure on every show last week, every single show I did, I'm pretty sure with you guys too, I was like, hey man, get ready, because I think we're going to be hearing some Debo. Debo. I said it all week on any show. I was like, get ready. Hey, he's the wild card. He's that hidden gem. Last year, he was pulling us through all year long. Now he gets to kind of just, get in where he fits in. And it's just so fun to be a San Francisco 49er fan right now. Come on, Dallas. We ready. We ready. Let's get it.
What about you, Bay Area? What you think?
I mean, we could look at this 49er offense and pick anybody. I mean, shout out to Kyle Shanahan. He was in his bag. The 49ers scored on 8 of their 9 possessions. That was 4 touchdowns, 4 field goals. There was only 1 punt in the game. That's not counting the last 3 plays they used to run out the clock. But Kyle Shanahan was in his bag. They were carving up this Seahawk defense. And, Brock Purdy, he was sensational. How many times did we see him hit these 20-yard deep dig routes where Kyle's scheming it up? Yeah, Ayuk's open. Yeah, Kittle's open. But Purdy's throwing it right on the money, hitting guys in stride. And fellas, he's got these cat-like reflexes in the pocket where as soon as someone's coming at him, he evades the rush, gets outside. He makes improvisational plays every week. And it's just been refreshing to watch. It's exciting to watch this offense. Deebo Samuel, the dude showed off his speed on that 70-yard touchdown catch and run. He also showed off his physicality. The Seahawks tried to play dirty. They were twisting Deebo's ankle after the play. That fired up this whole 49er team. Yeah. That pissed him off. And but Deebo was playing physical and fast. It was good to see him play one of his best games of the season in the playoffs. So I'm happy, want to see that continue. And Christian McCaffrey, got to shout out McCaffrey. What did he have here? He had a
Thank you. I was just about to say nobody's mentioning Christian McCaffrey, the guy.
We got to mention McCaffrey. Yeah, he had 119 on the ground, caught a couple passes. We saw the 68-yard rush, which was blocked up so well. Even on the Deebo catch, we saw Ayuk blocking 30 yards downfield. The blocking in this game was phenomenal. This whole 49er team played with such physicality. The Seahawks couldn't contain it. They couldn't handle it. But yeah, I thought they just blocked well. They were just playing super physical, getting, as Chris Berman says, you get a seal here, you get a seal there, and that's how you get explosive runs.
Hey, when you say that, back fond memories.
Baller, you mentioned improv, and you look at with obviously Brock Purdy. I think there's a stat that he has as many touchdowns as Jimmy Garoppolo has had his entire playoff career. One playoff game. I mean, just wow. And people, we talk about Jimmy Garoppolo's win-loss record and everything, but in one game, a 22-year-old Mr. Irrelevant came in his first playoff game and threw as many touchdowns as Jimmy Garoppolo. That just might show you how bad Jimmy Garoppolo was for the 49ers in the playoffs. And if they just had a quarterback, Brock Purdy, who did what he was supposed to do and be at least a decent game manager, maybe the Niners could have won, 1 or 2 Super Bowls. But you mentioned, and that's the thing that makes, Purdy, what he's been able to do, especially even last game, so special, is because you look at, obviously, I think majority of you guys watched yesterday's game, Giants versus Vikings. But you look at Kirk Cousins, Kirk Cousins' stat line against the Giants wasn't bad. Didn't throw an interception, threw for 2 touchdowns, completing around 60% of his passes, but he didn't make plays. He didn't make more plays than Daniel Jones. And you look at what Brock Purdy's been doing so far, throughout his whole entire time as the 49ers starting quarterback, he's making plays, and he's not turning. And that's what makes Brock Purdy in this offense so special, especially with Brock Purdy under center, is he's playing turnover-free football, but he's also making plays here and there, right? He's improving. You look at that play in the Elijah Mitchell that passed out. I think there was one to Christian McCaffrey where he stepped up in the pocket, found Christian McCaffrey, threw a dime, and the Niners get a touchdown. So what makes Brock Purdy so special is, obviously the improv in the play. And, when the pocket is collapsing or if a receiver is not open, picking up a first down. But he's also playing turn. That's what you need. When you have such a good defense, you just need a quarterback who could do the little things right, which not turn the football, get the ball to your open receivers, be accurate. And for the most part, Purdy's been doing that throughout the whole regular season. and he's shown you in the one game to do it also in the playoffs.
Hey, excellent insight there. I mean, I gotta say, what's good to everyone that's in the chat. I see Raphael, I see Boba, I see another YouTube content creator, No Border Sports. Appreciate you coming in. We got Livy's World, Itchy, Jesus. What's good to everybody that's in the chat right now? We appreciate you liking the video. Make sure you guys subscribe. Appreciate to all of our channels and especially to the Straight Out of the Bay YouTube channel. Also, G-Rod had a comment as well. Appreciate everyone being in here. But I just got to say, like, what a difference the quarterback makes. Obviously, the quarterback, most important position, you know, in the NFL, clearly. And at the, you know, the first half of the season, you know, the defense was carrying the offense, right? Jimmy G was playing like Jimmy G. He was okay. Some games he was above average. Some games he was average. And the defense was really leading this team. And now, when, you know, since Brock Purdy has been inserted as a starting quarterback, I feel like the offense is kind of taking that approach, and they are leading the team. They're right now, they're better than the defense. I'm sure we'll get into that shortly, but I feel like the offense right now is winning games when we don't have to necessarily rely on the defense, right? The defense obviously made great stops on Saturday's game, and we'll get into that, but the defense doesn't have to, you know, basically be perfect. And that's what we saw in the first half of the season. The defense basically had to be perfect. Don't allow double digits, or else, you know, we can't keep up with the other squad. So Brock Purdy has made a huge difference on this team, and he's a playmaker, he's a baller. And it's just great to see, and what a wonderful story this is. And, you know, hopefully it keeps up. Hopefully this run continues in the playoffs. Obviously, I think the guy who stood out to me yesterday, you can go with a lot of names, but I like CMC. I still think that's like the greatest trade in 49ers history in season to pick up. I mean, I know he didn't make the Pro Bowl, right? He didn't. No, he did not.
He got
make the Pro Bowl.
robbed.
Yeah, he got robbed, right? So to pick up
good.
a Pro Bowl, all pro caliber player, you know, in the middle of the season, this guy still has years on his contract. I mean, how can we not praise John Lynch right now? I mean, what an incredible trade that is. Basically, we're undefeated when he's starting. So obviously, he's made a huge difference on the squad. And as BayAreaBaller mentioned earlier, I think he had 117 rushing yards. And he and Brock Purdy have been, of course, the big differences on the squad compared to, you know, Jimmy G and when Elijah Mitchell was in there. And I like to think that we have the best running back tandem that's left in the playoffs. I know some other teams think that, hey, they like their guys, but we like our guys as well. So CMC makes a huge difference on this squad. It's always fun. It's just fun to see this team, you know, healthy, motivated at the right point in the season. And like BayAreaBaller said, you know, after, I think his name, Jonathan Abram, I think he used to play for the Raiders. Yeah. After he kind of pulled on Debo's ankle, it kind of sparked something. Even Kyle Shanahan was hot. I don't remember the last time I saw a head coach go on the field, and he actually bumped into some players. I don't know if you guys saw that, but Shanahan was hot. So, you know, that was crazy.
He yoked up on somebody. I seen it. He got a little shoulder in there on somebody. I was like, oh. But hey, man. Yeah, man. It's hey, that was I did the game live, the play-by-play, and I was like, thank you. I think it was number 23, and you just said his name, Abram. Yeah. I was like, thank you, 23. You just woke it up. You just woke it up. You just woke the monster up. It's on and cracking now, and sure enough. Hey man, that was a huge momentum swing. And just off the hook.
Yeah, huge momentum swing. I think it kind of woke up the Niners. I mean, I thought the Niners in the first half, I thought they played solid. You know, obviously Brock was a little off in the first half. I don't know if it was just the playoff jitters or whatnot, but you know, we were obviously.
Well, that first pass, Jay, I saw him in the post game. He said, "Hey, you know, no excuses, but the ball was wet. The ball slipped a little bit because that first throw, I was like, how did he miss that?
He missed that by a wide margin,
15 yards." But he did say wet ball, and at the start of that game, from what I saw, it looked like the heaviest rain that I saw throughout the whole thing was like that first 49er offensive possession. When they zoomed in, you saw it coming down pretty good.
Right.
So that's what he chalked that first throw up to.
Hey, and that's legit. That's the weather. It is what it is. What was funny to me was Shanahan didn't really run the ball that much in the first half, which was interesting. But I think it goes to the Brock Purdy versus number 10. Like Shanahan believes in Brock Purdy. He believes that Brock Purdy can make the throws, and he's not going to take the ball away from Brock Purdy, even when he, hey, the weather conditions were what they were. He looked a little shaky, whatever. He was a little inaccurate. Shanahan still believed in him, and that's something
That's
that
a great point, Jay. I
really
wrote
seen
that
in
down.
Jim.
The game plan was to sling the ball. They were
Yeah.
slinging the rock. They knew the Seahawks were going to come out in a run heavy for kind of loading the box to stop the run. And they said, hey, you know what? We trust Brock to get the ball to these open receivers downfield. Right. And that's when we saw these chunk plays. How many chunk plays did we see in this game? It's so refreshing, right? When 10 was back there, we have all these 15, 18 play drives, right? Where it's like, 3-yard run, 4-yard run, little check down pass. And it's like, it's hard. Now we're getting chunk plays, and the offense was moving smoothly.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's a great point by you, Jay, about Kyle trusting Brock Purdy, and you look at obviously the past couple of seasons, right? Not only just from the quarterback's perspective, but also from the defense. That the defense has really been the strong point. And when the Niners have had these runs where they go on win streaks or in the playoffs, the year that the Niners made the Super Bowl, that was mainly led by the defense, and the defense really, drove the bus during those playoff runs. Where even if you look at now in this whole run that the Niners have been going on, a lot of the games you could look at and you could be like, you know what, the defense struggled in some of these games, but who made up for the lack of, who made up for the, the defense's struggles? It's been the offense, and credit to Brock Purdy for that. And especially in a game, you look at, in a game where it's raining and it's raining at Levi Stadium with number 10, or even a lot of teams, they would run the football. They'd be like, we're going to pound the football down your throat, because it's hard to throw a football in those conditions for any quarterback, right? Mahomes, Josh Allen, whoever it might be. It's hard to throw the quarterback in the rain. It's obviously not, an easy task. And a lot of offensive coordinators or head coaches, their game plan or their mindset in the game probably for that, specific game would be to run the football. But that just shows you how much confidence Kyle Shanahan has in Brock Purdy, who's a young guy, and he trusts Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy has shown you, the consistency where he gets the ball to his receivers on time. He makes good decisions. He'll make 1 or 2 plays per game. And the biggest thing is he won't turn over the football. So when you look at, all the games that Brock Purdy has played, he's shown you the ability to do that. So, when you look at this game in specific, obviously Kyle Shanahan, it's unusual, when we've seen number 10 under center for him to, throw the football a lot and trust and rely on his quarterback to make plays and make throws in order to win the football game. Where, with Brock Purdy, he is doing that. And credit to Brock Purdy because he's handling it really well.
Absolutely. Brock Purdy has the juice, and I think his teammates feel it, the fans feel it, and he's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and it's definitely good to see. I gotta say, what's good? We have Andre in the chat, and we also have David McNiner in the chat. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the stream. Hope all is well. We got to get into the other side of the ball. I mean, special teams it was pretty good. Obviously, Robbie Gold was Robbie Gold. He was on point. Mitch only punted the ball 1 time. But defense, I would love to hear from the crew tonight on what are your thoughts on the defense? Did the defense, is it overrated? I've been hearing that a little bit. Or did we just have an off night yesterday? What are you guys' thoughts? Also, if there's a it out, feel free to mention that player's name, or you can mention something that we need to improve on, because we're going to face, the high-powered Dallas Cowboys offense, Dak Prescott, who looked pretty good tonight. He looked good. I don't think he'll look that good against us, because I think our defense is just on another level compared to Tampa Bay. But
Stephen A won't have his moment tomorrow. Stephen A can't have his
won't.
moment tomorrow.
He won't, but I have a feeling he will have it in the near future, I think. But BayAreaBaller, let me know your thoughts on the defense, man. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I thought the defense played really well in the second half. In the first half, we saw Charvarius Ward get beat on a long one. Predominantly they were playing a lot of zone, And so the Seahawks, Geno was content throwing a lot of these little curl routes because there are some holes in the zone, like between the linebacker and the corner on the outside. Like if you got the ball at the middle of the field, right inside the numbers is kind of where you can get these little short passes, little 5-7 yard curls and whatnot. So the Seahawks were doing that, but that more often than not, when it gets down to the red zone, our defense is going to lock up and bend, but not break. Yeah, we saw Ward get beat down the sideline. Demo, they tried to test Demo early, and I thought he withheld up to the test. I thought Diamador Lenore had a good game, but really the player that needs to be talked about first when you're talking about the defensive performances was Charles Omenihu. Just the game-changing, momentum-shifting play coming out of halftime. The 49ers scored on the first possession, and the Seahawks were driving it down the field. They were driving it. They had the ball, I want to say, right around the 15 yards away from a touchdown, and you get Omenihu coming around, whacking a ball out. That's why you like linemen with long arms, and Bosa dives on it. The momentum's changed. The 49ers took control of the game right there. Shout out Omenihu. And then I also got to say Eric Armstead. I went and watched the game back today a second time, really looking at like the D line and what Armstead was pushing dudes around. He had the sack on the Seahawks' first possession. That set the tone. But even for the rest of the game, he's getting QB pressures. Like I said, he's just pushing the pocket and just moving bodies. So Armstead needed to be shouted out. Last guy I wanted to call out was Nick Bosa, right? Nick Bosa, no sacks in the game, but the dude was stuffing the run. He had a tackle for loss where he shot through, took Walker down, and that wasn't the only play he made in the run game. He was also very impactful, even though he didn't have any sacks.
What say you, Celts Chronicles, on this defense?
This defense, hey, I'm gonna first talk about Mooney Ward, man. It was probably one of his worst games all year. But then at the same time, I said it before the game. I said I feel like Pete Carroll has been playing possum with the Niners, and I feel like he's gonna take some deep shots. And 1 for 1 on that one deep shot that they took, and they got over on him. It was a welcome sight to see Lenore step up, like Bay Area Baller said. He said all the obviouses, but another thing I will say about the Omenihu play, when I really started thinking about this felt so reminiscent to what Kansas City did versus us. I feel like we were like almost Kansas City in this game. Like the one major play versus Kansas City was the Jimmy Garoppolo 5-yard Hail Mary after we got gifted the muff punt. Then we instantly turn it over 5 yards outside of the end zone. When I seen that Omenihu play, it gave me flashbacks. Like we kind of did that same thing because the game was kind of close in both instances when Omenihu did it and when Garoppolo did it. And so when it happened, it just felt like just very reminiscent to that. Like, okay, we can hang with the Chiefs. We are going to hang with the Chiefs. We can hang with any team now. To see Purdy do this, playoff Purdy do this in, oh, damn, I still got that up. I've had that up the whole time. That's funny, too. But to see playoff Purdy, I see the ticker. I didn't even notice it the whole freaking time. But to see playoff Purdy do this, it's just like, okay, hey, he's the real deal. I don't care if it's 7 games. I don't care if it's 7 seasons. This kid can keep on duplicating what he's doing. I know I'm getting off topic from the defense, but I just think it was a great way to step up in that second half. And, hey, we can hang with anybody, man. I feel like, man, everything is clicking at the right time. I mean, Javon Kinlaw, had a good play in the very beginning of the game. You seen him staring the camera down and whatnot. So, hey, we're healthy. We're hungry. We're hot. Kavarius is gonna pick it back up, regardless of CeeDee Lamb or AJ Brown. Yeah, man, we didn't see Hufanga get beat. We didn't see Lenore get beat. Gibson, we held it down, man. They had a good game plan, though. I will say that about Seattle. They came through with a good game plan in the beginning. They were mixing in some direct snaps. Pete Carroll was in his bag in the first half, and they got shut down in the second half. We're just too talented. We got dogs on every single level. best linebackers, arguably the best freaking defensive line in the entire NFL. And we're stacked. We're ready. Lombardi number 6. Here we freaking come. Yeah, man, let's get it.
I gotta mention G-Rod's comment. G-Rod says, yeah, I gotta talk about the secondary. They have really sputtered lately, and I'm telling you, if they don't tighten up and shut it down next week, Dallas will torch us. What do you think about that? I mean, the Dream is the secondary really struggling? Is it one game or a handful of games? What were your overall thoughts on this defense versus Seattle?
I mean, it's hard to say it's only one game, right? Because you look at, you know, the Niners in the last couple of regular season games, and even if you look at the playoff game, the secondary has been a little shaky. It has been, right? Now, obviously, you could say the defense as a whole, you know, after that Raiders game has gotten better week after week. It has improved a little bit. I mean, credit to Nick Bosa and the defensive line. Credit to, you know, you having great linebackers. But the secondary looked a little suspect the last couple of weeks. And obviously, you look at the guys that are starting at the second. Charvarius Ward, your big offseason signing. You know, he got beat on that one play by DK Metcalf. But to be fair to Charvarius Ward, every corner gets beat. You know that's just a thing. You know, by playing cornerback,
It's the toughest position to play in the NFL.
It's the toughest position. It really is, right? And like I still play football against my cousins all the time, right? When I have to be a wide receiver, way easier than when I have to be a cornerback. When I have to be a cornerback, a lot of the times I'm getting beat. So playing the cornerback position, it's way harder. And you look at, you know, a lot of guys in the league, they'll get beat, right? And then, you know, they'll have their moments, but as a cornerback, it's really hard to play the position in the NFL. And obviously he got beat on that one play, but then Charvarius Ward, for the most part, did his thing against DK Metcalf this whole entire season. And he has been, you know, a huge part of this Niners defense success this whole entire season. But the defense, definitely, the secondary especially, definitely has to improve. And you look at Diamond Lenore, you know, he has shown some, you know, he has struggled at times, but you look at this game in Seattle, obviously he had the interception, and you know, for the most part, as a young guy, not the fastest, he hasn't been that bad. He hasn't been, you know, to the point where Ambry Thomas was, you know, last year as a liability. He's been solid.
I know. I mean, he's getting hands on some of these balls. Don't lose your train of thought. But it's like the Devontae Adams catch at the end of the game, the big long one. He got a hand on it. The AJ Green catch at the start of the Cardinal game where he got mossed, he got a couple fingers on it. Like, he's been right there. And you'll get some people that say, oh, it doesn't matter. You know, they still cut the ball. But to me, it does matter. Like, the guy's getting his hand on the ball.
Real talk. You're never going to be perfect. Your NFL team will never be perfect. No NFL team has ever been perfect. So it's like, okay, hey, can we get towards this, that? Hey, we're in the playoffs now. Every player, every team is good. Everybody's going to have an AJ Brown. Everybody's going to have a Stephon Diggs. Hey, it's the top of the tops now. Deion Sanders got burnt before. It happened. It really did freaking happen. Probably multiple times. So it's this want for perfection that will never happen. Are we? But we can still be the best. We can still be the best version of ourselves. I understand the worrisome, this, that, the other. Hey, we all have different lenses. We all got different perceptions. But and we are in some of the best times we have been in what, 11 straight wins, the best in 25 years. Like, let's go. Purdy is making history right now as we're witnessing it. If you cannot enjoy that, hey, I get it. We're on this YouTube thing. We're doing this thing. We're fans. This, that, and the other. Sometimes people like to be super objective and dissect it. Hey, man, me personally, I'm juiced. I'm fired up, man. I think we could beat anybody. Are we going to shut everybody down? No, we're not, because we're playing the best now. But there's always something you could sharpen up on, man. I just had to get that off, and we're like State Farm, man. We're in good freaking hands. We got one of the best. We got one of the best dang rosters with heart, and it's just like we got great guys on the team, man. Let's get it. Let's go.
We got Jake from State Farm, and we got Kelch from State Farm.
Hey, man. Hey, we in it to win it, man. We're in there like swimwear. We're getting it. Let's go, man. It's like, I understand we could talk about, you know, we got to talk about things that didn't go so well. Yes, Mooney Ward could have played well, but there's so many positives, and that's where my focus is. Real talk. We might not see something like this ever again in 30 more years. What's happening with Purdy and the 49ers right now? Enjoy it.
And speaking of, going back to the Diamo Lenore point, he hasn't been a liability. He's been solid. He had the interception. He makes, he deflects passes. But one player you mentioned, Eric Armstead, and Eric Armstead, as much as a lot of talk trash about him, say he's overpaid, and I do think he is overpaid, but he's underappreciated. He's definitely underappreciated. Now he doesn't put up the big sack numbers. He won't give you 10 sacks per game, but 10 sacks per season. But you look at what he's done in the playoffs. Even going back to last year, he's been so impactful in the playoffs and just the whole regular season. Obviously he might not get the sack numbers, but he disrupts plays in the run game. He disrupts in the playoffs. He stepped up not only last year, but you saw it in this off game. He steps up in the playoffs, and that's what you need, right? You obviously look at Nick Bosa, who's dominant, 18.5 sacks, should be the defensive player of the year. If he's not, that's rigged. The voting is rigged. The voting system is rigged. But Eric Armstead's at number 2 for the Niners, especially, in the playoffs. You've seen it the last couple of years, where Armstead has elevated his game and has stepped up when the Niners need him, which is the playoffs, because the playoffs is when it mattered. So credit to Eric Armstead for stepping up and being the Niners second star on that defensive line. And there's a lot of other guys that you can mention, and a lot of other guys, but credit to Eric Armstead, because I feel like the fan base, as much as we like to talk about DeForest Buckner, we don't have DeForest Buckner anymore. That was a mistake, or we shouldn't have drafted Javon Kinlaw. We look at, who the money went to, which is Eric Armstead. We, failed to realize that he's a huge part of this defense and this team's success overall. And, in the playoffs, he's definitely stepped up his game, not only this year, but, last season as well. But this defense, let's talk about this defense. Obviously didn't have the greatest first half. I would say, it was not necessarily, I think that one deep ball definitely hurt. Charvarius Ward got just turned around looking for the ball, and, DK Metcalf got behind. Defense definitely played better in the second half. And you look at, even in the games where the defense has struggled, in the regular season as well, the defense makes plays when it matters. And when you need a play from the defense, even if they are struggling, they'll make a play. They'll get the interception, or they'll get that fumble, that game-changing fumble. So, yes, the defense, times when you need a player, when you need the defense to step up, I feel like, yes, the defense does step up, and they did that in the second half, and they played a much cleaner, second half. So credit to the defense. But this defense doesn't have to be as good. Now, obviously, it would be great if they were, what we saw early on in the season, week 1 through 5. But this defense doesn't have to be as good. They can, obviously they could be sloppy at times. Obviously, we don't want that. But this way that the offense is playing so far, I think the whole panel can agree the reason why we won this game was because of the offense. The offense made plays. They put up points on the board. Purdy made plays. Ayuk made plays. This offense made plays. Whereas, like I mentioned early on in the stream, and that you guys mentioned it, is that the defense, defense really carried and was the heart and soul of this team's success the last time they went on this playoff run and they made it to the Super Bowl. Whereas, this game, the first game of the playoffs, the offense stepped up and they made plays. So the defense can be sloppy at times because the offense, for the most part, in my opinion, has shown the ability to make up for that. And they've done that for the most part, not only in the regular season, but in that playoff game as well.
No, absolutely. A great insight from everyone regarding the defense. I just want to point out a few people who are in the chat. We have Seagen in the building. What's good? Seagen is a Seattle Seahawks fan. He says, congrats on the dub, but take heed. The football gods granted me the Cowboys versus 49ers for old time's sake. I need both teams to bring it. Absolutely. It's going to be a battle. I think this is the second year in a row, right? We played the Cowboys in the playoffs, I believe. So it's going to be a very, very intriguing game. Let's see. Also, Vermilion Sports Report. Appreciate you coming into the stream tonight, man. Obviously, a huge Rams fan, and I appreciate you just saying, hey, what's good, man? I appreciate it. Also, Brandon Faringo. I believe he has his own YouTube channel as well. Appreciate you for stopping through tonight. Dan Castillo, appreciate you coming through tonight as well. What's good? He says, bring on them boys. Absolutely. I mean, you guys pretty much, I can't really add too much on the defensive side of the ball. I will say this, though. Demo Lenore, he's a young guy. I think he's slowly improving, but going up against the upper echelon wide receivers in the league, they're going to make some plays on you. I mean, we saw that this past weekend versus Mooney Ward. Yeah, he got beat, but it didn't really hurt us in the second half. Like you see, they couldn't really replicate those same plays. So I think this is a bend but don't break defense. I still think we are, the best defense that's left in the playoffs. I still believe that. But I think what helps the great defense is an offense that can put points on the board, and we've seen that with Brock Purdy under center. So it's going to be very interesting versus the Cowboys next week. I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. Obviously, a lot of history between the Niners and Cowboys, but who stands out to you when you hear of the Cowboys? Who are you most concerned about? It could be on either side of the ball. I'm gonna start off first on this. I'm gonna say Dak Prescott. Like, he had a pretty good game against the Buccaneers. Obviously, I think our defense is much better, but Dak Prescott showed his mobility. Against the Buccaneers tonight, he made several plays with his legs to get first downs, to continue drives. And that's something that the 49ers have definitely struggled with in the past. I mean, we let Stidham, run against us. So I think Dak Prescott, if he plays like he did tonight, it's definitely going to be a very, very close game. And, Dak Prescott can deliver the ball to his receivers. I thought he stepped up in a hostile environment on the road. Obviously, the Cowboys are still favored, but I can't lie. I was a little impressed by Dak. But am I expecting that same performance versus the Niners? I would say no. But when I think of the Cowboys, at least on offense, I think of the guy who, Dak Prescott, who takes the ball every snap. And I think he could be a difference maker. Like, if he plays like he did tonight, he could be a difference maker in the game. But that's who stands out to me. What say you? Let's start off with Amin the Dream. It could be either a Cowboys offensive player or defensive player. Who stands out to you when you think of the Cowboys? Who should the Niners coaching staff be most concerned about on Sunday?
See, I'm gonna be honest. I was shocked at Prescott because I was instantly when I hear the Cowboys, I think of Micah Parsons, and I agree with you. If Dak Prescott plays the way that he played tonight, that'll game, and the Niners offense and the Niners defense has to step up their game.
Hey,
Dak
Amin, my man.
argued.
Amin. Hey, sorry to cut you off. Like, you're crackling a lot. I don't know if it's the wire or whatever. I just had to let you know before you continued on. Now you should be good. A lot of times it's just the wire. It's a little crackling, but yeah, I think you're all right. You're cool.
All right. So for me, it's Micah Parsons. I think Parsons is a game changer. You look at obviously the speed. As a pass rusher, I think it's hands down Parsons. And if I'm the Niners, that's what I'm looking at.
I think Amin, he'll be right back with us. But let's go with BayAreaBaller. What are your thoughts when you think of the Cowboys? Who are you most concerned about?
Amin was on the right track there.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons, when you watch him, he's so long. He's so physically gifted. The dude's fast. He's got really good acceleration. He's powerful. So that's the first guy that jumps out at you. Like, you need to know. And I'm piggybacking off of you, Amin, with Micah Parsons, because the dude is a dominant pass rusher. I would say, Bosa's a lock for the deep defensive player of the year, in my opinion. But Micah Parsons is probably right there with Myles Garrett as just one of the most impactful defensive linemen in the NFL. Well, he's a linebacker. Like, sometimes they'll put him out there like at middle linebacker, right? But they'll also put him on the edge and have him rush against tackles. Like, they move him around. You have to know where he's at because he bounces all over the place. And then, offensively, CeeDee Lamb jumps out at me as just a supremely talented wide receiver. He's Dak's number one option. He also moves around. He's in the slot. They'll put him out wide. So those are the two guys that jump out at me. And as Jay touched on, the 49ers did play the Cowboys last year. And I remember from that game, the Cowboys shot themselves in the foot. I had to go back and look, but they had 14 penalties in that game last year, where you can't bank on the Cowboys doing that a game. And it was a one possession game. It was a tight ball game throughout it, right up until the end. So, 40, I know it's at home this time, but 49ers got to be dialed in both offensively and defensively.
Hey, yeah, quick thoughts. So, I'm not sure when you said at home. So the Niners are playing in Dallas, right?
No, they're at
No,
Levi's.
Or it's,
no,
No.
or it's gonna be
We're
at Levi's. Okay,
Oh, what's that? Levi's.
okay, all right. That's dope. Amin, you want to finish up your thoughts?
Yeah. So Micah Parsons, obviously, before hopefully my mic is out, but Micah Parsons is one guy, obviously a game changer. And you look at with the speed, he's one guy that can really disrupt what the Niners like to do on offense. Get Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel involved. He's one of the guys that can disrupt, what the Niners like to do offensively. So defensively, it's easily Micah Parsons, and then off Dak, like you mentioned, offensively, when Dak Prescott has bad games where he makes bad decisions, throws interceptions, that Cowboys team looks like a completely different football team compared, to what tonight, where Dak Prescott had himself a game, threw 3 touchdowns, completed, 60% of it. When Dak Prescott has himself a good game and gets going offensively, his offense gets going offensively, starts Dak Prescott, this team is a much better ball team than when Dak Prescott struggles like he did week 18. Oh, yikes. My mic is still in and out. But, one last point that I'll make is we beat Dallas last year and in their stadium. So, obviously, Dallas is coming back for revenge. This time they're in our stadium, coming back for revenge because, obviously, it's a playoff game, so you win or you're out. But I think Dallas wants revenge on the Niners this time. So, the Niners have to bring, their A. I think is much better than they were last year.
Celts Chronicles. Who are you looking at on the Dallas Cowboys?
Man, I'm looking at a lot. I'm having flashbacks of Jimmy Garoppolo overthrowing Ayuk. That probably ain't gonna happen again. I'm having flashbacks of Debo stiff arming Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons didn't do a dang thing last year. I'm looking at Dan Quinn versus Kyle Shanahan. I'm looking at D'Amico Ryans versus Kellen Moore. I'm looking at 1994 Super Bowl vibes when we whooped on them, in good old Candlestick back in the day. But I'm gonna go Tony Pollard. I think he's an amazing back. I think he brings a different element than Zeke Elliott. And then what a game by freaking Schultz, their tight end tonight. But then I think about their tight end Schultz, and I'm looking at, hey, who has the best cover linebacker in the NFL? We do. Fred freaking All-Pro Warner. And so we're going to match up. We're matching up versus Schultz. And is Tony Pollard really going to get it on and cracking versus us? To be honest, probably not. Another thing that I noticed about watching Dak Prescott, about watching Tom Brady. There were so many times I looked at Tom Brady and said, what are you doing? And then I look over at Brock Purdy and I barely ever catch myself saying, what are you doing, Brock Purdy? There's been whispers out there, oh, should we bring Tommy Boy in next year? No, we ain't bringing Tommy nothing next year. Look at his price versus Brock's. Look what Brock is doing on his quick feet. Like, his athleticism, what he's doing on his feet, how he's elusive, how he's getting out of the pocket and not just getting out of the pocket, but delivering, and the way he's manipulating it. I sound like I'm repetitive week to week to week. It's like when I'm watching Brock Purdy and then watch these other bigger quarterbacks who are, their motion and their movement is slower. Like, bro, we might be witnessing a young GOAT, man. Real talk. Like, I think we could be witnessing something special here with this Brock Purdy dude, man. He's a great dude on and off the field, and you can see it. You could, if you can't see it, because he's getting a lot of hate. I don't know if y'all have heard this past week, but when you start doing great things, you start all of a sudden receiving hate, and there's starting to be a lot of people coming out the woodworks. Oh, Kirk Cousins could do that in the 49er offense. Derek Carr could do that in a 40 day. Like, you're starting to hear people, oh, at least 20 other quarterbacks could just get plugged in. Guess what? Brian Hoyer didn't do it, and I don't care about the talent back in the day. I'm just saying Brian Hoyer didn't do it. CJ Mullins or CJ Beathard was plugged in. He didn't do it. Mullins was plugged in. He didn't do it. Garoppolo was plugged in. He did all right. But, I mean, hey, let's be real here. Give credit to this man, Brock Purdy. I think he's going to hit a wide open Ayuk. I'm not, to be honest, going back to Dallas, I'm not too worried about it, man. I feel like they're going to get some points. This is playoff football. They have CeeDee Lamb. They have Dak Prescott. They got Schultz. They got Pollard. Their offensive linemen, I'm not too familiar with it, but
They're pretty good. They got a pretty good O-line.
they look pretty good.
I mean,
The
tonight in
defense,
this game, the Bucks got no pressure on Dak Prescott, and I think that's why he was able to put up the yardage, and he looked so good back there in the pocket because there was nobody around him.
hey, there you go on that front. So hey, their offensive line is really good, man. So that's something we need to. Hey, man, we're gonna. One of the biggest things, you know, like I said in the very beginning, I said it fast, but Dan Quinn versus Kyle Shanahan, like what? That I think that's kind of cool. You know that Dan Quinn was the coach, I believe. You know, on the Falcons, who everybody gives the credit to Kyle Shanahan blowing that 28 whatever lead. Like, you know, I think that's going to be a good matchup. I bet Shanahan got something dialed up for that man beautifully. Like he probably knows him really, really well. And then you got D'Amico versus McCarthy and Kellen Moore. And it feels like, it just truly feels like it doesn't matter how much talent is in the playoffs. It just feels inevitably in the 49ers' favor, no matter who it is.
No, there's no doubt about that. And we have a Cowboys fan in the chat, and that's straight out of the Bay. We welcome all fans. As long as you're a fan of the NFL, hey, you can definitely come in and enjoy our stream. But clearly, Cowboys fans are geeked up after their win versus them sorry Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who barely got into the playoffs, who were, you know, they won their division, but clearly one of the worst teams in the NFL. So, I mean, you could be proud about a road victory in the playoffs, no doubt. But let's be real. This Tampa Bay offense was trash. It was putrid. I couldn't even watch that whole game, man. So it's going to be a much different story.
Hey, I do want to say one thing real quick. Dak Prescott in the beginning of the year, he said this is going to be the golden year. You dang right, Dak Prescott, the red and golden year. So, you know,
absolutely.
He should have said maybe the blue or silver year. I don't know, but you got it right, Dak Prescott. It's gonna be the golden year. Real talk. I just had to throw that in there. Hey, but we welcome all fans, man. We keep it decent up in here. We keep it lit. Good stuff for coming through. Welcome to the show. Hey, man, if you know, we love to talk football. We all love football. The link in the description. If you go to the description for the rest of the chat as well, everybody's channel link is in there. We're running this on Bay Area Ballers, Jay in the Bay, myself, Amin the Dream. So show some love, show some support. This is our first year doing this together. It's been what a remarkable year to be streaming together and have this thing come together. So we welcome it all, man. Good stuff for coming through. Real talk. It's going to be a heck of a game. Hey, props to the Cowboys. I will say this. I believe that was their first road win since 1993. I think that came against the San Francisco 49ers. The year before we won the Super Bowl, they won the Super Bowl, I believe. And, hey, man, so it's been a long time. Hey, man, we got history with the Dallas Cowboys all the way in the 70s. Even in the 70s, John Brody, you know, and Roger Staubach, I believe it was. Hey, there were some battles before we became a dynasty. We were close. We were in some of those hard playoff battles with them. So props to the Cowboys on top of it, but I have a feeling it's going to come short in at good old Levi's stadiums. But go ahead, Jay. My bad, my man.
No worries.
Hey,
Go ahead. Yeah.
Real quick, Jay, we had to switch the mic, so hopefully this is better, y'all. Hopefully this is better. I ain't at home. I'm not I told the guys backstage I'm at my cousin's house right now, so I'm working. I had to move this setup to my cousin's house as much as I could.
No, you're good. No, it sounds much better, man. Sounds much better. I like it. In Dak we trust. He said that Brady threw the ball 66 times. I can guarantee you that won't happen. I don't even think Purdy will throw 33 times, let alone not 66 times. So that's going to be a huge difference there. G-Rod mentioned that, you know, the game is won and lost in the trenches, and I completely agree with that, G-Rod. It's going to be a battle up front. And I spoke about Dak Prescott, and I know Kelts mentioned the running game. Yeah, I mean, Zeke the Freak and Pollard, that's a good 1-2 combo right there. That's going to be very tough for the 49ers to try to corral and make the Cowboys offense one-dimensional, and I think that's the way you beat the Cowboys. And there's no question Dak Prescott is not going to have the amount of time he threw versus the Bucks. Where there's no doubt he's going to, excuse me, Dak Prescott will not have the amount of time he had tonight versus the Bucs that he will have against the Niners. It's just a completely different squad. And that's how we're going to beat the Cowboys, just get Dak off his game. We know Dak he looks good tonight, but we've seen some terrible performances from Dak, some multiple turnover performances, and I expect that to happen on Sunday. So, but obviously very excited for the game. Amin the Dream, did you have any final thoughts on maybe someone on the offensive side of the ball that we haven't mentioned for the Cowboys who could be a threat or a key player on Sunday?
I mean, obviously, I mentioned Dak Prescott, but I mean, they have some weapons right offensively. Obviously, their running backs in Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, and then CD Lamb, who Baller mentioned, who you line him up in the slot, you line him up on the outside. But the running backs, I would say, obviously with the 1-2 punch of Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, and the running game has been pretty good for the most part. So I would say probably the running backs, those two guys, you have to keep an eye out for them. But this team is, obviously I have faith in my Niners. But what Dak Prescott showed me today, I mean, if Dak Prescott, like you also mentioned, Jay and the Bay, if Dak Prescott can play the way that he played tonight, that's a much better football team. And that's a team, if honestly, I'm going to be honest with everybody in the chat, if that's a team, if Dak Prescott plays the way that he plays tonight, next week, I don't know if the Niners will end up winning that game. Because, I mean, Dak Prescott had himself a game. I'm going to be straight up. Like, Dak Prescott had himself a game.
But let's keep it lit, though. Let's keep it all the way lit, because Purdy was kind of struggling in that first half, right? And we still did well, right? Even with him struggling in the first half, we put up 41 points.
Yeah,
I feel like we got so used to Jimmy Garoppolo that we are like kind of like, I don't know if we can hang and get into a shootout if we have to. But I don't know, man. I'm kind of thinking we can. I feel like we could. Man, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
It's going to be a very intriguing game. That's for sure.
It will. I'm much more confident in Brock Purdy's ability, right? And if the Niners had to go into a shootout with the Cowboys with Brock Purdy under center, I'm definitely more confident. And I was saying this early on in the season. I was like, what happens when the Niners have to get into a shootout game and the defense, struggles a little bit? Can this offense step up with when Jimmy Garoppolo was the quarterback? Can this offense with Jimmy Garoppolo go into a shootout? And I wasn't confident going into, when we were playing Kansas City and going into the playoffs. But now with, Brock Purdy under center, I'm definitely more confident in if we had to go, play a team like the Eagles or play, Dallas, and it was a shootout and we had to, go into shootout with them offensively, 49ers offense versus the Cowboys offense. I definitely feel more confident with Brock Purdy under center. Now, here's my only catch, though. My catch is, I don't know. I mean, Purdy, yes, he struggled in the first half, but Purdy's still unexperienced. And that's my big thing, where Purdy's still unexperienced. And yes, he has shown me for the most part that he's capable. But at the same time, I don't know, obviously as the stage gets, obviously as the games go on and the, this higher game after game, I don't know,
I mean, you picking the Cowboys to win this game?
I
don't know. Like, I'm nervous. I'll be honest, I'm nervous.
Hey, I remember back a few streams back, we were talking about, maybe a month or two back. Hey, are the Niners Super Bowl contenders? And who was it? Was it Jay? I think it might have been Jay and Amin, who are always kind of on the fence, and I just had to throw that in there, man.
It was way
facts.
too early to talk
That's
about
PT.
that.
This is the Jimmy G PTSD. This is what it is. It's the Jimmy G PTSD. He got us all in that little kind of worried state.
Really is,
and you don't want to get too excited. You don't want to get too excited until it actually happens. And but I feel it though. I kind of don't feel it because I try to be on the flip side of that. I try to stay on the, man, we got this. We got this. And if we don't, and if we do come up short, okay, we come up short. But I'm gonna enjoy this thing, man. I know we all show our anxiety in different ways, but damn you, Jimmy G.
Look at what Jimmy G has done to me.
Hey, who threw up? I think it was Baller threw up because my wife watches, and shout out to my wife. She says your hair is on fire. She said it's looking good. Great minds think alike. My wife and Jay in the Bay. I think Jay started it out with, hey man, the hair is looking fresh. I mean, But
Yeah.
Baller threw up a tweet because my wife watches the same show. I can't remember what it's called. The Elementary. What is it? I know
I learned because the tweets have been roasting me for not knowing the show Abbott Elementary.
Abbott
I don't watch it either.
Elementary. So there's
What?
there's a show called Abbott Elementary. My wife watches it, and I watch it with her. You know, I kind of check it out, and then of course, Bay Area Baller. So your wife watches the show?
She watches it, and then
Yeah. And so Baller put up a clip of, I guess, one of the ladies is in the lunchroom. She's doing her fantasy football. I can't remember what she said. Maybe you know it better than I do, Baller.
yeah. She said, "Well, I'm trying to figure out why I lost to the opponent, Mr. Johnson. Oh, it's that damn Garoppolo. That's the last time I ever draft based on looks." And so when that happened, when my wife was watching the show, and they said, she called me out of the other room and was like, "Eric, you got to come see this." And I was like, "Oh yeah," I was like, "Twitter's gonna love this." So
That's hilarious.
clipped it, and then it's actually it's making the rounds on Twitter. It's one of my better tweets, I guess.
Nice.
That's freaking. Hey, what up, RM? Good stuff for coming through. I also see you boats in the house. Hey man, like I said earlier in the stream, we're getting toward the end of it, but the links to everybody's channel is in the description. Man, if you like 49er content, every one of us brings something different to the table. So go check it out, man. Go check out Baller up top, Eric. We here, just so y'all don't know, man, there's Eric right here. We got Jay in the Bay right there. We got Amin the Dream right there. So go check out the links in the description. Go spread the love, man. Keep this thing lit. And
hey, all of us got to 1,000 except for my man Amin.
Yeah,
so
we need to get
everyone. We got to get Amin to 1,000.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. I'm so inconsistent right now that like I don't even feel comfortable getting 1,000. I'm so inconsistent lately with school and everything. Like you've been posting counts, I gotta post, and once I get that 1,000, I feel like I earned that 1,000. But right now, I haven't been giving the people the streams, so I don't really deserve that 1,000. But I appreciate that, Baller.
No doubt.
You'll get it.
And I got a couple last thoughts on this game that I want to put out there coming up. Right, we're talking 49ers Cowboys.
Hey, I did just want to say real quick. Hey, man, you're one of the brightest young men that I freaking know. Hey, the way you're able to speak, the knowledge that you possess. You're a young dude, man. You know what I'm saying? So of course you got school and you got things to attend to. I know the rest of us got families, but you're just as busy as at your age. You're amazing to me, and I just had to throw that in there. But go ahead, Baller.
I second that. But I wanted to touch on a couple things talking 49ers, Cowboys, and like what the Bucks did tonight, having Tom Brady throw 60 plus times. Like that's not the recipe for success against the Cowboys. They do have a couple really good pass rushers. We touched on Micah Parsons, but DeMarcus Lawrence is also a really good pass rusher. But where they're susceptible is in the run game. You actually want to run it on the Cowboys. So that'll be something to monitor. And the other aspect I wanted to bring up, we talked about CeeDee Lamb and how he moves around. But I'm wondering, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this. When he's in the slot, like there's a lot of things Jimmy Ward does well, right? He's really good in the run game. You can blitz him. He's super smart out there, but kind of locked up. I don't know how much man they're going to play. D'Amico's been playing. He's been mixing up man and zone. But I don't really like the matchup of Jimmy Ward, let's say like one-on-one with CeeDee Lamb in the slot. What do you guys think about that?
I would agree. I don't think it's a favorable matchup for Jimmy Ward. I think CD is I don't know if he's elite yet. Like he's not a top 5 wide receiver, but there's no doubt he can make top 5 wide receiver plays. There's no doubt about that.
I think he's probably top 10. I think
I would say top 10. I would say top 10. But yeah, Jimmy Ward, he's had a fantastic season. But that's not a favorable matchup. I don't like that matchup with him versus CeeDee Lamb. But hopefully that connection, we won't see that connection based on Dak running for his life or, Dak getting hit. We've seen those games where Dak gets pressure. He's not the same quarterback. So, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, hopefully, man, I'll let Amin take off. I just think we're gonna handle them, man. Hopefully they know the rules this go around. I don't know. I just feel like I already want to start talking crap, man. I just feel like, man, I feel like I'm in game mode. I know sometimes, man, we could be objective and this and that, and let's be as realistic and as logical as we can. But I want to have fun with this thing, man. Hopefully they come with know the rules, just all the good stuff. I can't wait. Hey, this is a rivalry. This is one of the biggest. I was going to be happy either way, Bucks or Cowboys, because could you imagine if Brock Purdy would have beat TB12 the 2 times he ever faced him and then knock him out of the playoffs? Imagine the legendary type stuff that would have been placed on Brock after that, even though he's still remarkable. But yeah, man, I love that we're facing Dallas. It's just, one of our biggest rivals right there, man. And I'm just excited to see all the matchups. Parsons, Jimmy Ward versus whoever he's going to line up against, Mooney versus whoever he faces up against. What was your original question, Baller?
About the matchup in the slot with CeeDee Lamb,
in the
Jimmy Ward.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, it's about time. Yeah, man. Yeah, Jimmy Ward is not the fastest dude. I'm not sure how fast CeeDee Lamb is, but yeah, man, he's definitely, like Bay was saying, the top 10 type of dude. So, yeah, man, what's your take? I mean,
oh man, I'm still thinking about the Jimmy Garoppolo, last couple years in the playoffs. Like, I don't know why, but I'm scared to play the Cowboys. Obviously, the fan base wanted the. I would have much rather have had Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, but now that they were playing the Cowboys, I don't know, man. Like, I'm nervous for this matchup. I'm nervous. More nervous than the rest of the Niners fans. I think, Jimmy Garoppolo, especially in that Cowboys game, did to me last year. That Cowboys game, my heart was going up and down. I was like, all right, we got this game. Then Jimmy Garoppolo throws the interception. I'm like, Jimmy, what are we doing? Over by now. But I think obviously it'll be a great matchup, right? Obviously, you look at CeeDee Lamb, Travarius Ward. You look at they have Michael Gallup, Deommodore Lenoir. It'll be a good matchup. Obviously, can the pass rush get to Dak Prescott and make him get the ball out quicker? It'll overall be a good matchup, and I think it'll be a good game. Two teams that have good defenses. That have been struggling at times. That have shown some signs of. They've struggled at times, and then we have the offenses that Dak Prescott had himself an offensive game against Tampa Bay, and then this Niners offense that has stepped up in a major way the last couple of weeks. So it'll definitely be a good game. So I'm looking forward to it. I just hope my Niners can come out on top and get the W against the Cowboys. I want this year. I want number 6 this year.
Oh, we coming. Hey, we're about to get into some game picks. I just want to quickly go over what happened last week. And we also want to say what's up in the chat to Jesse, Crypto, Tim, Brandon, everybody that's been rocking with us, G-Rod, Raphael. Just we'll go through a few of the names, but we got to quickly go over this, man. We got some business to attend to. But last week we did the NFL playoff predictions for each game, and we all found different ways to come to 3-2. Eric, myself, and Jay in the Bay were all 3-2 in the playoff games. I'm almost like, hold on, was there only 5 games? Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, hold on 1 second. Oh, that's because the Niners. Wait, we were all 4-2. Wait.
Yeah, there you go.
Bengals won. Okay, I messed up the Bengals. Okay, wait, we were all 4-2, and we all found different ways to do it. It's kind of trippy how it worked out. And then Amin the Dream was 3. Wait, let me see if I got it right here. Yeah, 3-3. So, hey, man, it's a close battle. And, hey, let's get into the next picks.
You know the overall records for the whole, like, when we started again?
I think Baller won it. I think we chalked up the second half of the season. I could go back and look at it all, but Baller won the first half of the season. The second half of the season, we got a little inconsistent, and a few of us started kind of missing this and that. So I think we kind of just scratched that. And Yeah, we'll
Pretty
do
much,
better.
Baller's
I was
still the
on top
champ.
the second
Baller
half.
is still the champ.
I was on
coming.
top,
We coming.
Baller. You know, they just scrapped the second half. I was dominating the second half. You know, going 4-5-1, 4-2 per week. I was doing my thing, and they were like, Baller kept his championship. He wanted to keep his championship, so he decided. I'm pretty sure not to put in a couple of game picks for certain weeks to keep his championship, and then Kels was like, "We're gonna scratch it because Baller, he ain't put in his game picks." So
Facts.
Hey, I just want to do this real quick just because I love it. So just real fast, y'all.
Well, we're moving on up to the next game. Hey.
I love how she threw in that hey in there at the end. But yeah, man. All right, so what do we got? We got the Bills versus who?
The Bengals.
We got the Bills
It's in
and
Buffalo.
the Bengals. Oh my goodness. We got the Chiefs. We got the Chiefs versus the Jags. Right? And then we got 49ers, Dallas. And then we also have the Eagles and Hey, we got some good freaking games coming up.
Let's do this rapid fire if that's cool.
Yeah, it's
Let's
all
get
good,
this
man.
thing rolling.
Let's do it. Bills, Bengals. Who you got, Eric?
Bills. Give me Josh Allen. Obviously they got some extra incentive with their boy DeMar. Bills.
yeah, give me the Bills as well. If the Bengals had a healthy offensive line, I might have leaned towards the I might have leaned towards the Bengals, but another offensive lineman got hurt for them today is going to be out for pretty much majority of the playoffs unless they make a late push. So give me the Bills, and also what Baller mentioned, the Hamlin, the whole situation with Hamlin. Prayers up for him. Hopefully, Barfield. So give me the Bills.
Give me the Bengals. I like the Bengals in this game. Obviously, both talented teams really well. Should be a high-scoring game, but Josh Allen, he just makes interesting decisions while he's out there, and I think the Bengals can definitely capitalize on his mistakes. So I think the Bengals will win this game in a close one.
I'm kind of there with you. I don't know what it is. I know people are in just complete love with Josh Allen, but man, I've seen teams like the Vikings come through and have a comeback win versus them. I've seen teams like the Dolphins come through and hold them down, and the Bengals got a tough defense. The Bengals are on the second hottest win streak, behind the 49ers. I don't think the Bengals are no pushover, man. I think they could easily come and take it. It looked like they had momentum going in versus the Bills the first time. Prayers to Hamlin. I got the Bengals. All right, Chiefs, Jags. I will start this one off. God, I almost want to pick another upset on this one, and I don't think the other game is too much of an upset. I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs on this one. Great job by the Jags last week, though.
KC.
KC.
Bang, bang, bang. All right, man. We
Bring
got
out the brooms to sleep.
We got the Eagles and the Giants, and I will say that Danny Dimes, I think he was the only quarterback in NFL history to have 300 passing yards and 775 rushing yards ever in history. I mean, good Lord Almighty, Danny Dimes. Who would have thought? You know what I'm saying? Who would have thought the New York Giants would even be close to this position? Man, this could really bring some late 80, early 90 vibes if it was the 49ers and the Giants in the NFC Championship. My God, could y'all imagine? But I'm going to take an upset, man. The Eagles have been simmered down for a long time. Who really knows what's going on with Jalen Hurts? Could the Eagles beat them 3 times again? Hey, man, could the Eagles go and blow them out the water? Maybe. But I'm going to go ahead and take the underdog in the Giants.
I'm going Philly. I just think they're the better football team, and I'm going to dip out on that one. I forgot I told Larry that I would hop on with him, so I'm about to hop on Kruger's show right now. So after this, straight out of the base show, you can go check out Kruger. I'll be on there talking ball. But fellas, let's get this win, and I'll talk to y'all next week.
Talk to you next week.
Let's go.
I think the Giants had a hell of a season, and Dayball, he definitely deserves recognition for coach of the year. That's for sure. But I think their season ends on Saturday night versus the Eagles. I like Philly. I just think they're the better team. But hey, Danny Dimes, he looked pretty good against the Vikings, and he's had a pretty good year. He could get consideration for comeback player of the year, maybe. So, but I think Philly's got the edge.
Yeah, I'm taking Philly. I mean, Philly just overall is the better football team. I like Jalen Hurts. He's obviously I think he makes plays when it matters, and I'm just going Philly. I just think that they're a better football team. And you mentioned it, Jay. Credit to Brian Dable for what he's been able to do with this Giants football team. Credit to Daniel Jones, who had himself a game on Sunday and had himself probably the best game I've ever seen Daniel Jones play in his time, in a New York Giants uniform. So credit to Danny Dimes and credit to Brian Dable. I think ultimately, Shanahan does deserve Coach of the Year, but I think Brian Dable for what he's been able to do so far this season, and then also being able to win a playoff game. I think he'll ultimately end up winning Coach of the Year, even though I think Shanahan and some other guys did deserve it. But I think Dable probably will end up with the Coach of the Year because what he's been able to do with the Giants so far. But credit to him, credit to Daniel Jones for having himself a bounce back season. People are doubting him for having a good season, and then credit to the New York Giants football team. But I think their season ends, and I'm going with Philadelphia.
Yeah, man, it could easily be Seattle. I don't think I have to ask anybody about the 49ers unless
we should do a score prediction. How about we do that?
Let's do a score prediction. But one thing I will say about Philadelphia as well, man, it's like, I like to pick underdogs. That's just me, you know what I'm saying? But, if I had to put my money, I probably would say Philadelphia. But hey, what a defensive line by Philadelphia. Just sometimes I get weird about that week off, and hey man, Saquon and the Giants are rolling right now and Danny Dimes to do this without like a main couple of receivers on top of it, man. It's kind of impressive.
Don't sleep on Richie James, man.
Richie James, Slayton. Oh, Slayton dropped a bad one. Dropped a bad one to put the dagger in that game, but hey, they pulled it out. Richie freaking James. Hey, man, I think he had himself a game with Nick Mullins one Monday night or something like that.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't even thought about score predictions versus Dallas, so I kind of like that. I kind of like how it's super fresh. Who wants to start it off, man?
I'll start it off. I think this will be a close game. I think this will be a high-scoring game, but I think the Niners will take it. I think we just got to run the ball just like we do every game. Slow down Micah Parsons in that pass rush, beat him up. Then, in the third and fourth quarter, JP Mason comes in, knocking fools over. So I like the Niners to win this game. I think it's going to be super close, though. I think Niners should win 31-27. That's what I got.
30, say it again,
31-27, 49ers.
31-27. Hey, man, my score prediction is kind of close. Well, I think we're going to score 33 points. I haven't even thought about Dallas yet. 33. I think they're going to be 4 points less, and they have to try to score a touchdown to try to win it. I can see our defense holding it down, so that would be 27. That's a lot of points. And when was the last time a team has scored 27 on our D? Was that
Raiders?
KC? The Raiders got over 26. Yeah, so I think it could be a 33-27 game. Hey, you know what? I want to pull up, but you can make your prediction to me. I want to pull up our predictions from last week. Go ahead, Amin.
I don't know if I want to say what I feel like. I don't know if I should say it or
Cowboys.
What's on your spirit? Hey, let the spirit speak. Let the spirit speak.
I gotta hear this.
Oh no.
See, this is what Jimmy Garoppolo's done to me, right? Like this is like
oh no.
Like going into the divisional matchup with the Cowboys, like I like in my mind,
number 10 is not under center.
I still feel like Jimmy's that quarterback and Jimmy's about to throw away this game, and I'm like, no, what's gonna happen? Oh my goodness, should I go with I don't know, it's not that I want to pick the Cowboys. I don't know, I just have this feeling that the Cowboys are gonna pull off this upset.
I mean, I'm about to reach through this camera. I mean,
I'm gonna put it out there. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I'm gonna put it out there.
No way.
What's the score? I gotta hear the score. What? How many points?
I'll go with 28-17. 28 to 28 to let's see, 28 to 20. The Cowboys win by 8. I think
Okay.
it'll
Only
be a close
20
game.
points. Only
28 to 20. I think it'll be an 8-point game. I don't know, man. Like I want the Niners. Like obviously I'm rooting for my Niners. I just have like about this game. I don't know why. Maybe it's Jimmy Garoppolo. You know what he's done to me in the past.
He won't
but
even suit up. He
I
might not
know,
even be
I know
there.
what's going
Bro,
on. The Cardinals-
I don't.
I feel like
If
Jimmy
we
started.
if we put up 20 points with Debo, CMC, just
Ayuk,
Kittle,
All right, let me change my
Hughes,
score prediction. Let me change my score prediction.
Kyle Shanahan versus Dan Quinn. It's almost. I feel like it's
Mason,
impossible.
Mitchell.
If
All right, let me
put up
change my
20
score prediction. Then. Let me change my
if-
score
if-
prediction.
All right, 29 to
So-
28, right?
33 to 28. Cowboys.
Niners.
And the Cowboys
Cowboys.
still win. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think now for me to see that score and the Cowboys winning, I would think that Purdy throws a few picks. Do you see Purdy throwing a few picks versus
I think Purdy, a couple of picks early on in the game where the Niners have, a fumbler or Purdy, the Niners have to, down in this game and the Niners have to score a touchdown and Purdy throws an interception late in the game and the Cowboys end up winning.
Hey,
Here
Dakota really impressed you tonight, man.
hey, here's the predictions from last week. Baller said 27-17 49ers versus the Seahawks. I said 37 to 10. And Jay, you said 31 to 13. What was the final score? 41, 41,
23. Yeah, 41-23, I think. Yeah.
Me and you were pretty dang close, man. They almost hit that, man. Hey, I don't think any of us seen us hitting putting up 41, especially. 40. Hey, man,
and 500 total offensive yards. Like, Cowboys ain't ready for that.
They ain't ready. They ain't ready. How about
that? Everybody in the chat, they're Cowboys.
Don't do drugs.
What up, Derek? What up, Derek? Good stuff for coming through. I've never seen you on the channel before. Welcome. We all appreciate you. Like I've said a couple of times, man, we got everybody's channel link in the description. Go show some love. I'm pretty sure we're up out of here. I think that's about it.
One last thing. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm brutally wrong about my Niners Cowboys game pick.
You gonna be wrong.
I pray God that I'm wrong.
I'm gonna pray for you tonight. I'm praying for you tonight. It means like, Lord God, take this PSD off of my man, Amin the Dream, man. He is better than that. He does not deserve to be held captive any longer. Set this man free. But anyways, everybody can say their final thoughts. And we just appreciate everybody that's been rocking with us the whole season long. This thing isn't going to stop until February 12th when we are hoisting that dang Lombardi trophy up. And man, it's already been a remarkable season. Phenomenal, remarkable, just super cool, heck of dope, man. So, man, it's been hella cool. We've been rocking with you guys all season long. And yeah, man, anything that you guys want to say before we head for the door?
Yeah, I echo your sentiments, Kelts. I echo your sentiments, man. We appreciate everyone who just stops in and say what's up, and everyone who comments in the chat. We appreciate it. We can't get to every single comment. I would love to, but just know that we do see you and we appreciate you coming through. And we'll be back here for sure next Monday night, and hopefully it'll be a victory Monday.
Real talk.
Yep. Hopefully it will be a victory Monday. I mean, I still remember when Kelts hit me up, back in September. It was like, you want to do this show? We got, Baller, Jay and the Bay. We're trying to work out the time, but you want to do this show? And I'm like, hell yeah. Obviously we've been doing this for the whole regular season. It's been a pleasure doing doing this with you guys every Monday, and pleasure to everyone who tunes in. To appreciate you. Like Jay mentioned, to everybody's comments, but it definitely makes it a more enjoyable show when people are commenting. They're tuned in, and they enjoy, hearing what we have to see. And so it's definitely appreciate everybody in the chat and appreciate obviously doing this with you guys. And I want to say one last thing. Congratulations to Kelts, because I think he hit 1,000 on the YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago. So congratulations to Kelts. I'm proud of you. Happy for you. Good job, man.
Well deserved, man.
Yeah. Man, hey, I couldn't have done it without great guys like yourselves, man. Like I said, sometimes life hits hard, man. And if I didn't do the straight out of the Bay, I don't know. Who knows? I might have went, last season I went ghost for a few months, not because of anything with the 49ers, but just, sometimes hey, first off, thank you guys. Thank you, Amin, for even bringing that up. Thank you, Jay. You've been a #1 supporter from the jump, from day one, man. So, man, I just appreciate it. I never thought in a million years I'd be over here talking sports, and especially in front of the camera. I'm not the type of guy to take selfies, or, when I first started, I was terrified of the camera and hearing my own voice, and I still don't like it, even though other people do. I hear the way maybe I talk or this, that, or the other, and I just get a little, I don't know, I feel a little weird, but I've learned a lot, man. I've learned a freaking lot, and I'm glad I continue to take risks and step outside my comfort zone and to do certain things. Yeah, man. So I appreciate it. Hey, man, let's all rise up together, like I like to say on my
One last
show.
thing, girls. One last thing. I
Faithful.
appreciate Dan for the compliment. What's up, Corey? Hope you're doing well.
Where's that at? You said Dan?
Yeah, Dan said he likes the haircut. I appreciate that. Shout out to my
Fresh.
barber.
That's like the third comment, man. Hey, that's a good barber you got there. Amin the Dream.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking for the comment. Oh yeah, man. Hey, that's like the 5th comment. Cool haircut. I mean, hey, you coming through. Hey, I seen the side too. The side, you got the
fresh.
Yep. Bang bang. There's. I mean, I need to get a fade. Bang bang. Let's get it. Hey, we got G-Rod coming through too. I love this, man. I just thanks for the platform, guys. God bless. Absolutely. God is undefeated. So hopefully the 49ers can finish it the same way God does, man. And he said the James Brown hairdo. Let's get it. Hey, James Brown was he was the man. All right, y'all. Hey, we are up.
After this one, I'm about to be like, James Brown haircut. Google, type that in on Google.
God, man, I'm trying to think of a James Brown song now. I know that man was a freaking entertainer and a performer. I know, but I'll think of it as soon as I click out. Y'all, the Jackie Wilson hairstyle. Hey, y'all stay up. Y'all stay blessed, man. We are up out of here. Anytime, come through to 49ers straight out of the Bay every Monday night at 8:15. Maybe we'll still even be doing it in the off season. We don't know. Maybe we'll take a little bit of break. And then for me, you could catch me at 11 o'clock, 11 in the morning, early afternoon on Wednesday. I'll be doing a call-in show, but I call it a tap-in because I don't think you're calling in. You're clicking in or tapping in. So I'm going to have a tap-in show Wednesday morning, so come check it out. And, yeah, man, we are up, almost out of here. I want to play a freaking intro.
Up. Yay! We getting it, boy.
What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay.
Your baller back again. Smells like football season. Yo. Whoa.
What up? Yeah, man, I gotta think of an outro or something, but I still like that. Sometimes people don't even see it in the beginning when they come through, so I always want to leave the people with something.
Absolutely. Hey, we still live though.
Are we still live? You serious?
Appreciate everyone coming through tonight.